and I will be your host. This weekly show promises to bring you nothing but the best of all latest updates, news, views, analysis, and insights, and everything concerning the 2023 UHAS SRC elections. As you gather here each week, you're going to witness the electrifying race to lead the Student Representative Council. Don't go anywhere, because you and I are going to go on an incredible journey through the world. Anyways, guys, welcome back. This is how the show is going to be. We're going to start off with the election news summary, and we're going to head off straight into the analysis room where we're going to talk about how elections work here in the US. We're going to discuss the poll results that was organized by US-based TV during this week. But before that, I have with me two other people who are going to help me bring this show to you. You can interact with us on WhatsApp on 050-164-9771. You can send your comments to us on Twitter using the hashtag UHASDecide. You can send your comments to us wherever you're watching from down below. We'll do all to read it for you. I have here with me in studio Prince Emmanuel. Hi Prince.
Hello Enoch.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Just copy with the straight in UHAS as usual.
I'll get back to you, but before that, my minutes right have Sandra who brings us the summary of the news concerning our elections. Hi Sandra.
Hi.
What do you have for us this week?
So I'll be bringing you the latest news concerning this year's SRC elections.
So, what do we really have? What do we really have?
Okay, we begin with a story that has been dominating headlines all week. Diana Menuveve has taken a bold step by declaring her intention to stand for the position of the Federal SRC Women's Commissioner. This announcement has sparked a buzz of excitement and anticipation among the students' body as she becomes the first person on campus to officially throw her hat into the ring for any position this year. It is still unclear if others will join her in this race. The political scene witnessed an intense debate today in the SRC Parliament. The Electoral Commission presented the much-awaited constitutional instruments for the upcoming 2023 UHAS SRC elections. The atmosphere in the House was charged with differing opinions and perspectives as members raised critical issues concerning the details of the proposed constitutional instrument. This development holds significant implications for the students' body as it directly impacts the forthcoming SRC elections. A political correspondent closely followed the proceedings and will be providing in-depth analysis and expert opinions on the matter.
It's very beautiful.
You can send us your comments.
Some from
below
Parliament, student populace, as well as two reps from the EC, the chair and then the first deputy, or any of the deputies. Then we make up an 8-member committee, even with the legal advisor being part of that. The people that were vetted were students from the student populace, in quotes, student populace. The people that come from Parliament, you parliamentarians agree that they should go and represent you. So the people that are vetted, there are just about 3 or 2 people that come to join that number. That's the clarification for that one. Hope you are fine.
Welcome back, Prince Mano.
Hello.
So we want to know, I think my viewers want to know what is actually happening on the ground when it comes to the elections. What is the euphoria in the school right now?
All right, so in UHAS right now, the EC has just, as Sandra said, the EC has just brought their CI before the Parliament, and there was a lot of heated arguments going on today in Parliament, talking about some of lots of concerns were raised. So you can also see people are also trying to bring out their perspective of what they think should be included in the CI and what they think should be removed from the CI. But we will talk about that one later in depth next week. And generally on campus, you can see that a lot of people are trying to bring in their show their interest in the election. Yes, but yes, some of them bring out videos, some of them declaring their intentions, some of them going to classes, going around telling people, asking people whether they deem fit to contest for either positions or not. So generally on campus, everything is trying to go in its place as usual. Yeah.
Okay, but I think that as we speak, we haven't had any official, apart from Dinah's official declaration, we haven't heard anybody declare intentions to vie for any position. Okay, but we're going to get straight into how elections really work here in the UHAS, in the analysis room. What do we really have, Prince?
All right, good evening everyone and welcome to the analysis showroom. This is where we bring you all the facts, data and figures. We will do all the dissection, bisection and the trisection of the data to bring everything to your barest minimum understanding. So it brings the barest minimum understanding. So on this segment, I'm going to do it with my co-hosts Enoch and Sandra. So today we are going to talk about how election generally works in UHAS, how the electionary process is. We are also going to delve deep into a poll we conducted to see how UHAS students are enthusiastic for this year's election. So beginning with how election work in UHAS. So the election can be found in the UHAS SRC Constitution, specifically chapter 6 of the Constitution, and when you get the heading you can see is elections and qualifications. So particularly the election starts with declaration of intention. So when you talk about declaration of intentions, that is where somebody assesses himself, goes into look at the criteria that we have in the SRC Constitution and see that what can I feel, am I worthy enough to contest for this particular position or not? What position speaks to other people, and find out which of the position at all will you be able to fit in, and also look at the policy and everything that the person has. So before someone else can go for a particular position, the person must know that you must be a student of this institution, you must be attached to the particular hall or hostel or a block of residence. Even if you are somebody who from level 100 have not been in a hostel, you have been affiliated to a particular hostel, whether Sogli Hall, Diviat, Dave, or any of the hostels that we have in the school, you have been affiliated to one. So you must particularly be affiliated to one particular hostel, and you must register with that hostel as somebody who wants to declare your intention, who have the intentions of being running for this particular election. And also, he or she is to contest election under the hall that we talk about, and you are supposed to also have an accumulative grade point average of 3.0 before filing for the nomination. That means that if you look at your GPA, cumulative GPA from your first year, you came to the school to the current year in which you are, you should have a GPA of 3.0 or above. Anything below that does not qualify you to hold an executive position. So even if you have a GPA of 2.98, you are not qualified to hold contest for any executive position under the Constitution under the UHAS SRC Constitution. So,
but Prince, do you think that is right? Using someone's GPA to disqualify a person from vying for a position in the school, do you think it is right? Do you think it's not being serving as an impediment to prevent people from really coming out to go for these positions?
All right, so I think it is right, because the executive positions or the executive office that we have in UHAS, from the federal to the local and all those one, comes with a lot of responsibilities. And as you are also in a health institution where you have tight schedule and everything, a lot of activities going on campus, you must be somebody that we have to know that you can be able to go up with the workload. You can be able to manage the kind of responsibility you have in the school, as well as being able to manage your duties you have to perform to the SRC community or the students community. So you having a GPA of 3.0 is the only thing that we have, because normally from the school rules, before somebody can graduate, the person must have a minimum of 2.0 or so. So if you are somebody who is getting a 3.0 GPA, that is giving us that you are somebody who is above average. So you have that kind of qualification to be able to work with the workload that you have in school, at the same time being able to handle the work that you have in the SRC. Yes. So talking from that, then we will move to the next stage, which is the nomination stage. So the nomination stage has to do with opening of nominations. So it takes place during the 3rd week of the 2nd semester. So the nomination is when, after you've declared your intent, you've seen yourself that I want to go for the WUCOM or the SRC vice president or maybe the president of UHAS SRC, then you will now bring it out to the public that this is what I want to do. You file your nominations to the EC. So that is normally happening at the 3rd week of the 2nd semester according to the constitution. So you now file with the EC, bring out your policy documents, that whatever that you think that you are going to do. So if I'm going for the SRC president, the policies I want to implement, everything I want to do will be stated in my policy documents, and I'll put it together with and file my nomination. So normally on campuses, the nomination, everybody wants to go into the filing nomination like in an environment that you know that you are confident. So you can see in some schools, like here in university, when a particular candidate was going to file a nomination, he went there in a Range Rover with a lot of crowd to show that you have the support system. Like you want to show that people are supporting you, in as much as you have everything on your policy document. So they go there and they go and do it. And the next one has to do with the public vetting. So the vetting is where after you file the nominations to the EC will now take time to look at your policy documents, look at your qualification. Then they will now vet you based on all those things and see. So the vetting committee is normally, according to the constitution, should contain the EC as the head of the chairperson of the electoral commission as the head of the vet committee. Then one of the deputies should also be there. Then 2 members of the SRC parliament should also be part of the vetting committee. Then the one legal representative of the SRC should also be part of the vetting committee. So those are the people who will vet you based on your policy and everything, feasibility of your policies, whether all that you have said in it is really going to work and how you are going to implement that for the UHAS community. That is what they are going to do.
Prince, the last time I realized that during the vetting, after vetting, they give marks. They award marks depending on how you perform during the elections and during the vetting. What do you think? I think that whole point of awarding marks to someone doesn't really work because it's subjective. Maybe somebody actually said some things that the people or the board or the panel didn't like, and then you give the person, you awarded the person, let's say you award the person something like 75%, and according to ASEA, you realize that if you get less than a certain number or a certain average, you can't qualify to fight or contest for the elections. Do you think it is something that we should keep doing, or we should just scrap it? Because you can't give your subjective remark on someone and that should be the final say, or that should decide whether a person is able to contest or not.
All right, so it's a yes or it's a no. They all have their implications on the ground. So sometimes having a particular set of mark gives the student's body the confidence that the person we are coming to entrust our vote in really knows what he's doing. And that comes back to the feasibility of the policy documents I'm talking about. You can't just come to file your nominations and bring about like, oh, when I come to the office as the SRC president, I am going to do this. You don't even know how you are going to do it, how to lobby for funds, and how the project is going to benefit the UHAS community. If you're able to talk about all those things very well and know your constitution or the UHAS SRC very well and know how things generally work in UHAS, I think you'll be able to score a good mark on that. And that one also will entrust, if I look at somebody, maybe the vetting result is out, and look at somebody who has a very 80% mark from the panel that has been set, at least I know that this kind of person has something which is somehow very good or very good. But also, it also has a negative implication when maybe the panel there is being biased. Yeah. The panel is being biased. So, in as much as you are bringing us a good policy, but like because the panel is not in your favor or they don't like you, or maybe you didn't say something clearly, you get a lower mark. That doesn't mean that you can't also perform very well. That's why some schools, if you go to some universities, they are scrapping that aspect of the vetting committee, just disqualifying somebody based on the mark. I think that's been gone also. They scrap that kind of thing. So I think it's something which should be going on because they've realized that it's caused a lot of confusion. Because if you study the trends in UHAS, most of our election petition cases are based on disqualification because of the average mark that we have in the CI. So if that is removed out, that means we are having lesser election petition cases in UHAS. So maybe UHAS also have to adopt that.
So, Prince, so if it happens that a candidate doesn't agree with the vetting results, like, is that candidate allowed to contest the vetting results, like maybe
challenge the
Yes,
results?
yes. So the person is allowed to challenge the results. So you can go to the court. The court challenge the results. And as I said earlier, a case scenario like last year when we had it, the person felt like he did so well in the vetting and he doesn't understand why she scored lesser than 80%. So the person took the case to court. They had to put an injunction on election